Welcome to Making a Home, where we like to do home renovation and at-home DIY projects. And in today's episode, we're going to be starting a series where we are going to be renovating our kitchen. It's a little bit outdated, and the first thing that we're going to get started with is updating our cabinets. We're also going to do the floorings later on, and eventually we're going to do the countertops. And the first thing that we need to do is to remove the doors so we can clean them.
So let's get started.
The first step was to remove the cabinet doors by removing the two screws that attach them to the cabinets, and after those are removed, we go ahead and remove the hinges from the doors themselves. Because as I'm removing all of the doors, it means cleaning them with a grease cleaner. A quick tip for this project is to make sure to keep your hinges organized, because as you remove them, you're going to notice that they're going to start piling up really quickly. And you're also going to notice that a lot of them are kind of different from one to the other. So it's going to be a good idea to keep a couple piles for the different types of hinges, and also to label where the doors go, because it just keeps track of everything a little better. That way, whenever you're putting them together, you're not trying to figure out which hinge goes to what door and what door goes to what cabinet. Okay, so I just finished here removing all of the cabinet drawers and the doors, and everything's pretty much done. As you can see here, there was quite a bit. I think a total of 16 of these drawers, including the doors as well. So there's quite a bit. Now the only thing that's left to do is go check on Esme to see how much of the grime and the grease that she still needs to remove with one of those degreasers. So yeah, let's go ahead and check on her real quick. Okay, so we're here with Esme. Now it looks like she's got quite a bit of these cabinet doors finished up. She's got a few in the back, but looks like she's making quite the progress. Do you want to say a little bit of something about how it's going?
It's going quick, but yeah, it's not bad. It's mostly just tedious work. And then there are a few that have some gunk stuck on the top, of course, which are the ones that are like right directly above the stove. So other than that, it's going pretty quickly.
So here you can see I'm taking off a sticker off of one of the cabinet doors. What I did was soak it in cleaning solution, and then what I did was scrape it with one of these scraping tools. I did this multiple times, but eventually it all came off.
Once we were finished cleaning the cabinets, we went ahead and added caulking all around the edges of the front faces of the cabinet doors. And we did this because whenever we do start painting the doors, we don't want any paint to not get under there or to create any weird shadowing effect. And it also kind of gives it a more cleaner look once they're all painted. If you also plan to do this as well, it's important to get a caulking that's meant to be painted on, and also getting a wet rag, because a kind of a damp rag will also help remove any of the excess caulking that's on there.
Hello, welcome to day 2. We are moving our appliances today. We're gonna wipe down the counters in here. And then
we're gonna be splitting up tasks. While she's doing that, I'm gonna be in the garage setting up a location for us to start painting the cabinets, the cabinet doors and the drawers. And I also need to drill some like hooks so that we can hang them while we paint them. And after that, we're gonna come in here, and then we're gonna start taping all around the edges of the cabinets. That way, whenever we do start painting, we're not painting all of the surroundings. Now, whenever you do start setting up a location to paint, make sure that you choose a pretty large area, because if you're going to be using a spray gun like I will in this video, it's going to be getting all over the place, and you just want to make sure that you're not painting anything that's immediately around there. So remove anything that's pretty close, and also set up a painting tarp. That way, if you do spray like around the cabinets, you're not spraying any of your items or things that you have in that area. And what I will also be doing is setting up a place to hang the doors. That way it's easier to manage and move around all the cabinets, and it just makes the whole process a little easier. So in order to do this, I will be drilling the top of the drawers and the doors and adding a circle hook. And that's going to give me a place to hang them off of the string that I just hung. If you're going to be hanging your drawers to paint, like I am in this video, I would suggest you to drill 2 holes on each side and attach your circle hooks there instead of just having one circle hook in the middle, because if you do that, it's going to be kind of lopsided to one side, and it's just going to be really difficult whenever it comes time to paint. So just add one on each side, and it'll keep everything a little bit more firm and just make it easier for you to paint. Since we're gonna be painting the cabinets with a spray gun, we're gonna go ahead and move all of the appliances, since there's gonna be a lot of overspray outside of just the cabinets themselves. So it's important to try to move as much stuff as you can. And another thing that you also might want to consider is removing all of the stuff inside of the cabinets, because regardless of whether you're putting like painting tape to kind of help prevent it from getting sprayed on the inside, it's inevitably gonna happen. It's just one of the things with a spray gun, since they're shooting the paints basically at a pretty strong rate. Eventually it's gonna move that painter's tape out of the way and kind of spray on the inside. So if you want to prevent your stuff from getting painted, I would just suggest to try and remove everything from the inside. That's one thing that we didn't do, but if we ever do paint the different cabinets, that's something that we're gonna consider doing on the next time.
Up next, we went ahead and covered the inside of the cabinets to make sure that no paint got inside of them. As you can see, Miguel's actually covering the inside where our dishwasher goes, as well as the floor to make sure no paint got on our floor. We also covered outside of the cabinets to make sure that no paint got on our walls, as well as the top or the countertop to make sure that no paint got on there as well.
A tip that I would give you guys whenever you're masking off the edges is to mask off more than what you think would be necessary, because if you're going to be using the spray gun, it's going to be getting all over the place, and you just want to make sure to prevent any paint from getting on your walls. So yeah, just make sure that you mask off a lot more than what you think is going to be necessary, because even though we're masking what seems to be like a good amount here, at the end we did end up getting a little bit of paint on the walls. Not too much, but just like in corners we got a little bit of paint, which could have been prevented if we just went ahead and added another layer of painting protection paper beyond what we had originally planned for. Now, whenever it comes to painting, you want to make sure to start off by mixing your paint, because if you let it sit for a bit, it's going to separate the water and the paint. So just mix it pretty good. That way you have an even color throughout. And also make sure to do a few test runs, because if you haven't used a spray gun before, you just want to make sure to get the process down at least a little bit before you start, and make sure that you have the right nozzle that you're going to be needing for this project. And also a quick tip is to keep in mind that you're not gonna get the color right on the first time, and by that I mean that it's gonna cover the cabinets with a clean finish on your first try. You're gonna probably have to do a second coat, and you might even need a third or a fourth to really make or really give them a clean finish. And just make sure not to overdo it, because if you do, the cabinets are gonna have kind of like a paint drip to them because of the overspray. And if that happens, you're gonna have to let them dry, and then you're gonna have to sand them, and it's just gonna take a lot of time, and it's gonna be a pain. So yeah, just go lightly. Shoot for at least two coats. More than likely, at least a third would be good, and if needed, go for a fourth coat. But yeah, just take it slow and just try to make them as nice as you can, even if it takes a little longer when it comes to painting, because this is what's really going to give you that nice clean finish. So now onto painting the cabinets. You want to first do a quick coat, follow with a second, and if needed, go for a third coat to cover any blemishes or anything like that. And as you can see here, the spray gun kind of removes some of the paint protection paper because of the high power that it has. So that's just something that's going to happen. So keep in mind, you want to remove all of the stuff from inside the cabinets just to help prevent them from getting any paints on them. That kind of happened to us on some things, and it's kind of a pain to remove the paint. You have to use like a nail polish or something like that to help remove the paint, and it's just more time. So that's just a quick tip on painting the cabinets. So now that we have finished painting, we did two coats to get the cabinets to look and have a pretty clean finish. And now that that's done and we've let them dry for a day, we can go ahead and start removing the paint protection paper. Use, if you have a X-Acto knife around, just kind of score where they meet, and it kind of helps remove the paint protection paper a lot better, and it makes the whole process a lot smoother. And the last thing that you want to do at this point is put in all the effort to get the cabinets painted, and now that you're removing the paint protection paper, is basically leave a whole bunch of like unfinished areas because you got a little impatient and removed the paint off of the cabinets. So just take your time and make sure that you remove the protection paper carefully, and yeah, it should be pretty good by the time that you are done. And once you're finished with that, just go ahead and start putting the appliances back in place and getting your kitchen back in order. That way you can start the next process of adding the doors back and the hardware, and I guess adding any new hardware that you may have if you did decide to purchase new ones at this point. And as you can see here, we're beginning to add the doors. I started by adding the hardware that connects the cabinets to the doors, and once I had the door in place, we purchased these like handles off of Amazon to kind of a more modern finish to them. And once they were up there, I just drilled the holes for the screws, and I added the hardware, which was a pretty simple process. They were about $30, I think they were, for like 10 sets. We bought 2 sets, and I think they do give the cabinets a really nice look to them, even if it's just kind of this small detail. It really makes our kitchen look that much more better. So if you want to purchase these as well, link down in the description below. And finally, here is the finished product. It's been about 3 months since we've painted these. I wanted to give a good amount of time before I finally did the last images and showed you guys the final results because I wanted to see how the paint stood up over time, and it looks like it did pretty good. I haven't had any issues with them. They look a lot better than they were originally. So out of this project, I would give this a 10 out of 10. Everything that I used was pretty good, especially if you're a beginner like I was. I've never done anything like this before. So yeah, I would say as far as beginner friendly, anybody could pretty much do this. If you have a knack for kind of DIY projects, go ahead and yeah, give this a try. And if you guys do want to try any of the stuff that I was using, I'll give a link down in the description. And yeah, I think this project came out a lot better than I expected. It's been holding up over time, and I'm really glad we were able to do this project. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and stay tuned because we're gonna have another video to the series where we're gonna be painting the floors and doing some of the pantry and eventually the countertops. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video if you already haven't. All right, guys, see ya.